Mall of the Damned. Chapter 1. The Break-In. The night was a bruise, swollen and heavy, pressing down on the cracked asphalt of the old Fairview Mall parking lot. It was June 1976, and the mall had been dead for 3 years. Its neon signs dark, its windows boarded up like the eyes of a corpse. The air smelled of rust and gasoline, and the distant hum of cicadas was the only sound, save for the crunch of gravel under 5 pairs of sneakers. Danny Kessler, 17, all wiry muscle and bad ideas, flicked his Zippo open and shut, the flame dancing in his gray eyes. He leaned against the rusted chain-link fence, his denim jacket patched with band logos, Black Sabbath, Blue Oyster Cult. "This place gives me the creeps," he muttered, but his grin said he loved it. "Creeps? Man, you're the one who dragged us here," said Reggie Tate, his fro bobbing as he shook his head. Reggie was the group's voice of reason, but reason never won against Danny's dares. He adjusted his bell-bottoms, the flashlight in his hand casting jittery beams across the fence. "Shut up, Reg. It's just a mall," chimed in Lisa Monroe, tossing her feathered blonde hair. She was 16, tough as nails, and Danny's on-again, off-again girlfriend. Her cut-off shorts and halter top were smeared with dust from climbing over the fence. She clutched a crowbar, her knuckles white. Behind her, Tina Alvarez hugged herself, her dark eyes scanning the shadows. Tina was the quiet one, 15, dragged along because she had a crush on Reggie. Her plaid skirt and sweater looked out of place, like she'd wandered off a school trip. "I heard kids went missing here," she whispered. "Back when it was open." "Bullshit," said Jimmy Weasel Walsh, the smallest of the group, his acne-scarred face twisted in a sneer. Weasel was 16, always itching for trouble, his switchblade tucked in his boot. "It's just ghost stories. Place is probably full of rats and beer cans." Danny snorted, kicking the fence. "Only one way to find out. Let's move." The fence was loose, sagging like old skin. Danny pried it up, and the group crawled under, the metal scraping Lisa's back, drawing a thin line of blood. She cursed, wiping it off, but didn't slow down. Inside the lot, the mall loomed like a forgotten cathedral, its concrete walls stained with graffiti. "Satan lives. Run. Death waits." The words glowed faintly under Reggie's flashlight. They reached a side entrance, its glass door shattered, the frame jagged with shards. Danny stepped through first, his boots crunching glass. The air inside was stale, thick with mildew and something sour, like rotting meat. The mall's atrium stretched before them, a cavern of shadows. Empty storefronts gaped like open wounds, their signs dangling. Sears, Radio Shack, Walgreens. Escalators rusted in the center, frozen mid-climb. A fountain, long dry, held a pile of debris, syringes, condoms, a single child's shoe. "Jesus," Tina whispered, clutching Reggie's arm. "Relax, T," Reggie said, but his voice was tight. He swung the flashlight, catching glints of broken glass and something scrawled on the floor in red paint. Or was it paint? "Stay out." Weasel laughed, too loud. "Some hobo's idea of art. Come on, let's find the arcade. Bet there's still some quarters in the machines." Danny nodded, leading away. Their footsteps echoed, swallowed by the vastness of the mall. The air grew colder, the shadows thicker. Lisa's crowbar tapped against her thigh, a nervous rhythm. Tina's eyes darted to every corner, expecting movement. Reggie's flashlight flickered, just for a second, and everyone froze. "Battery's fine," Reggie muttered, smacking it. The beam steadied, but the moment left a knot in their guts. They reached the arcade, its neon fun zone sign cracked. The letters F and Z dark. Pinball machines and claw games stood like tombstones, their screens dead. Weasel kicked a skee-ball machine, and it groaned, spitting out a single ticket. He grinned, holding it up. "Jackpot, baby!" Lisa rolled her eyes. "Real treasure, Weasel. Let's..." A sound cut her off, a low, wet scrape, like something dragging across concrete. It came from deeper in the mall, beyond the arcade. The group froze, their breath shallow. Reggie's flashlight swept the darkness, finding nothing but more empty stores. "What the hell was that?" Tina whispered, her voice trembling. "Pipes," Danny said, but he didn't sound convinced. He flicked his Zippo, the flame casting jagged shadows. "Let's check it out." "Are you nuts?" Reggie hissed. "We should bounce, man." Danny's grin was feral. "You scared, Reg? Thought you were tougher than that." Lisa sighed, gripping her crowbar. "Let's just look. If it's weird, we're buying me 2 beers, Danny." They moved toward the sound, Danny and Lisa in front, Reggie and Tina in the middle. Weasel lagging behind, his knife out now. The scrape came again, closer, joined by a faint, rhythmic thump, like a heartbeat. The air grew heavy, the smell of rot stronger now. They passed a mannequin in a store window, its head missing, one arm raised as if waving. Tina whimpered, and Reggie put a hand on her. "Easy, T," he said, but his own heart was pounding. They reached the food court, a wide-open space littered with overturned tables and chairs. The smell was unbearable now, like a slaughterhouse left to fester. Reggie's flashlight caught something on the floor, a smear of blood, fresh and slick, leading to a pile of trash in the corner. No, not trash. A body. "Oh, God," Lisa gasped, stepping back. It was a man, or had been. His throat was torn open, flesh ragged. His chest caved in like a rib cage had been stomped. His eyes were gone, just black holes staring at the ceiling. Blood pooled around him, still glistening, as if he'd been killed minutes ago. Tina screamed, and Reggie clamped a hand over her mouth. "Quiet," he hissed. Weasel gagged, his knife shaking. What did that?" Danny's face was pale, but his eyes burned. "We need to go now." They turned to leave, but the scraping came again, louder, from the shadows of the food court. Reggie's flashlight caught movement, something big, hunched, dragging a massive cleaver, its blade scraping the floor. It wore a tattered janitor's uniform, stained black with blood. Its face was hidden under a hood, but its hands were wrong, too long, fingers tipped with yellowed claws. "Run!" Danny shouted. They bolted, sprinting through the food court, their footsteps a frantic drumbeat. The thing screamed, a sound like tearing metal, and gave chase, its cleaver sparking against the concrete. The mall became a blur of terror, storefronts flashing by, their hearts pounding in their ears. Chapter 2. The Hunted. They ran blindly, the thing's screams echoing behind them, closer with every step. The mall's layout was a trap, corridors twisting, escalators leading to nowhere, dead ends, Lisa's crowbar slipped from her sweaty grip, clanging to the floor. She didn't stop to grab it. Tina sobbed as she ran, her sweater tearing on a jagged railing. Reggie pulled her along, his flashlight beam jerking wildly. "Split up!" Danny yelled, veering toward a department store. "It can't follow all of us." "No!" Reggie shouted. But Danny was already gone, his denim jacket vanishing into the dark. Lisa cursed it and followed him, leaving Reggie, Tina, and Weasel to scramble another way. Reggie dragged Tina into a sporting goods store, ducking behind a rack of moldy jerseys. Weasel dove under a counter, his knife clutched to his chest. They held their breath, listening. The scraping stopped, but the thing's breathing was there, a wet, rattling gurgle, like it was tasting the air. It was close, so close, its boots crunching glass just outside the store. Tina's sobs were blown against Reggie's shoulder. "Shh, Shang-Ti, please." His eyes locked on the entrance. The thing paused, its head tilting as if listening. Its cleaver dragged lazily, carving a thin from the floor. Then, with a sudden snarl, it moved on, its footsteps fading. Weasel peeked out, his face ghost white. "It's gone," he whispered. "We gotta find Danny and Lisa and get out." Reggie nodded, helping Tina up. Her eyes were red, her face streaked with tears. "What is that thing?" she asked, her voice breaking. "I don't know," Reggie said, "but we're not sticking around to find out." They crept out of the store, Reggie's flashlight dimmer now, the beam barely reaching 10 feet. The mall was silent, but the silence was worse than the screams. Every shadow seemed to move, every creak a threat. They headed for the side entrance, praying it was still open. Meanwhile, Danny and Lisa crouched in the department store, hidden behind a display of rotting mannequins. The air was thick with dust, and Lisa's nose bled from the fall she'd taken running. She wiped it, smearing red across her cheek. "This was your dumbest idea ever," she hissed. Danny's grin was gone, his Zippo lost in the chase. "I didn't know, okay? I thought it'd be fun." "Fun? That thing's gonna gut us." Lisa's voice rose and Danny shushed her. "Keep it down," he said, peering through the mannequins. The store was dark, but he could see the hallway beyond, empty, except for more blood smears on the floor. "We wait here, then make a break for it." Lisa nodded, gripping a broken hanger like a shiv. Her hands were steady now, her fear hardening into survival instinct. They waited, the silence stretching, until a new sound broke it. A faint, childish giggle, coming from deeper in the store. "What the hell?" Danny whispered. The giggle came again, high and wrong, like a toy wound too tight. Lisa's eyes widened. "Danny, don't!" But he was already moving, crawling toward the sound. Lisa cursed and followed, her heart in her throat. They reached the back of the store, where a pile of old clothes lay in a heap. The giggle came from beneath it, and Danny reached out, pulling back a coat. A doll stared up at him, its glass eyes cracked, its mouth painted in blood. The giggle came again, but not from the doll. It was behind them. They turned, and the thing was there, its cleaver raised, its hood falling back to reveal its face, or what passed for one. It was a mass of scars. No nose, no lips, just a slash of teeth and those burning eyes. Lisa screamed, shoving Danny aside as the cleaver swung. It missed, embedding in a mannequin, splintering plastic. They ran, the thing roaring, its claws raking the air. They burst out of the store, sprinting down a service corridor, the thing's footsteps thundering behind them. Chapter 3. The Trap. Reggie, Tina, and Weasel reached the side entrance, but the glass door was gone, replaced by a sheet of plywood nailed shut. Reggie's flashlight caught fresh claw marks on the wood, deep and splintered. "Son of a bitch," Reggie muttered, kicking the board. It didn't budge. "We're screwed," Weasel said, his knife useless against the barrier. "That thing's gonna find us." Tina sank to her knees, rocking back and forth. "We're gonna die here," she whispered. Reggie grabbed her shoulders, determined. "No, we're not, T. We're getting out. There's gotta be another exit." They backtracked, moving toward the mall's main entrance. But the scraping sound returned, joined by a second one, then a third. Reggie's flashlight caught glimpses. 3 shapes now, all hunched, all dragging cleavers, their hoods hiding their faces. The kids froze, realizing they were being herded. "More of them?" Weasel whimpered, his voice breaking. "Run!" Reggie yelled, pulling Tina toward an escalator. They climbed it, the metal groaning, and reached the second floor, a maze of boutiques and offices. The scrapes followed, deliberate, the things moving slower now, savoring the hunt. They ducked into a record store, its shelves tipped over, vinyl scattered like black blood. Reggie barricaded the door with a shelf, but it wouldn't hold long. Tina clutched a broken record, her knuckles bleeding from gripping it. Weasel paced. We're fucked. "Shut up, Weasel," Reggie snapped. "We need to think." Tina's voice was small. "I saw it. Its face. It wasn't human." Reggie swallowed hard. "Doesn't matter what it is. We stick together, we survive." The barricade shuddered, a claw ripping through the wood. "Tina!" And Reggie pulled her back. The door splintered, and one of the things lunged in, its cleaver swinging. Reggie dodged, grabbing a fire extinguisher from the wall and spraying it. The fog blinded the thing, and Reggie swung the canister, cracking its skull. It staggered, blood black and thick, oozing from the wound, but didn't fall. "Go!" Reggie yelled, shoving Tina and Weasel out a side door. They ran, the thing's roars echoing, joined by the others. The second floor was a nightmare. Mannequins everywhere, posed like victims. Some with real blood, some with limbs hacked off. The air was a scream, the smell of death choking them. They reached an overlook, the atrium below a black void. Reggie's flashlight was dead now, and they moved by touch, stumbling over debris. Tina tripped, and Reggie caught her, but Weasel wasn't so lucky. He fell, his ankle snapping, and "Don't leave me!" Reggie turned, but the things were there, their cleavers glinting. Weasel scrambled, his knife slashing uselessly. One of the things grabbed him, its claw sinking into his shoulder. Blood spraying as the cleaver came down, splitting his chest. His body twitched, then went still, his eyes wide in death. "Tina!" And Reggie dragged her away. The things turning toward them, they ran, the mall a blur of blood and shadows, their hope fading. Chapter 4, The Ritual. Danny and Lisa reached a maintenance tunnel, its walls slick with mold. The thing was behind them, its giggle now a low, mocking chant, joined by others. The tunnel was narrow, the air rancid, and Lisa's flashlight died, plunging them into darkness. "Keep moving," Danny gasped, pulling her along. They stumbled into a chamber, the walls carved with more symbols, the floor a mosaic of blood and bone. In the center stood an altar, piled with skulls, some fresh, some old, all grinning. Chains hung from the ceiling, dripping with gore. The air hummed with a sickening energy, like the mall itself was alive and hungry.
What is this place?
Lisa whispered, her voice shaking. Danny didn't answer, his eyes locked on the altar. The things entered, 3 of them, their hoods down now, their faces fully exposed, scarred, eyeless, mouths stretched into rictus grins. They chanted, a guttural sound that clawed at their minds, and Lisa felt her nose bleed again. Blood.
They're worshipping something, Danny said, his voice hollow. The things didn't attack, their cleaver lowered as if waiting. Lisa saw movement on the altar, a shadow bigger than the others coalescing into a formless mass, its eyes like oil slicks. It pulsed, and the chanting grew louder, the air vibrating with dread. "We need to go," Lisa said, tugging Danny's arm. But he was frozen, staring at the mass, his face slack. "Danny!" she screamed, slapping him. He blinked, snapping out of it, and they ran, the things roaring, their cleavers raised again. The tunnel twisted, leading back to the mall's main floor, but the things were faster, their claws raking the walls, sparks flying. They burst into the atrium where Reggie and Tina were, bloodied and panting. "You're alive!" Reggie gasped, but there was no time for relief. The things were everywhere, their chants filling the air, the mall itself seeming to pulse with their rhythm. "We found something," Lisa said, her voice frantic. "An altar, they're calling something." Tina's eyes widened. "I knew it. This place is cursed." Reggie grabbed a pipe from the floor. "We fight then. No way out but through." The things closed in, their cleavers glinting, their faces grinning. Danny lit a rag with his Zippo, tossing it at one, the flames catching its rags. It screamed, thrashing, but the others didn't stop, their claws slashing. Lisa ducked, grabbing a shard of glass, and stabbed one in the neck, black blood spraying. It staggered but kept coming. Reggie swung his pipe, cracking a skull, but a claw raked his back, tearing flesh. He screamed, falling, and Tina grabbed him, dragging him up. The things were relentless, their chants a maddening drone, the shadow from the altar growing, filling the mall with darkness. Chapter 5. The End. The mall was a slaughterhouse now, the floor slick with gore, the air a scream that never stopped. Danny's fire spread, catching debris, the smoke choking them. Lisa's glass shard broke, her hands bleeding, but she fought on, stabbing blindly. Reggie's pipe was bent, his strength fading, but he shielded Tina, his back a map of wounds. The things didn't tire, their wounds oozing, but not slowing them. The shadow grew, a mass of teeth and eyes, its presence crushing their minds. Lisa felt it whispering, promising her peace if she gave in, but she screamed, "Fuck you!" and fought harder. Tina, sobbing, found a flare in a broken case, lit it, the red light searing her eyes. She threw it at the mass, and it shrieked, the flare burning brighter than it should, the altar cracking. The things howled, their chants breaking, and for a moment, they faltered. "No!" Reggie yelled, and they ran, the mall collapsing around them, flames licking their heels. The things chased, but the mass was weakening, its shadow shrinking, its blacks was last to seethe. They reached the main entrance, the doors somehow unbarred now, and burst into the parking lot, the night air a shock. They collapsed, coughing, bloodied, Tina sobbing, Reggie holding her, Lisa's hands raw, Danny's face burned. Behind them, the mall burned. The things screamed, swallowed by the flames, the mass's shadow fading. They didn't move for a long time, the fire painting the sky red, the cicadas screaming. The mall was gone, but the dread lingered. In their bones, their sways, their moved and song. No one spoke of it, ever again.
but they carried it, the weight of the dam.